began my June playing time feeling a little differently to how I usually do after binging 3 games from my favorite series, not in a bad way, but in a way I knew I was ready for something else, and with new releases and new demos to play to give me exactly that, June ended up being a refreshing month that reminded me exactly why I love this genre so much with the many games I played. There was still the wholesome and colorful alchemy journeys I love to enjoy so much with 2 of my favorite twin alchemists to top off a great trilogy, and also some new things I was able to try, like JRPGs with dark humor and deep story that added something refreshingly different to my JRPG time, and as I bring one of these experiences into July as well, I can say I'm still having a lot of fun playing and may have even found something to add to my list of favorites from this year. So without further ado, let's get right into the JRPGs I played in June. As well was one of my most anticipated games for this year, Scarlet Nexus's cool-looking action and theme made it look like a JRPG I would enjoy, and I'm happy to say that the full experience definitely delivers on these things, but it's also got its fair share of surprises as well, with interesting plot twists and a unique setting, making it go well beyond being just a cool-looking game that uses psychokinesis, with its world and its secrets being things that become more intriguing as I play. The technology-based world of New Hamuka has been fascinating to learn more about as things open up as I play through Kasane's route, with it also being interesting to see how her story intertwines with Yuito's and how the story moments make her go beyond her cold exterior. And with everything having more than meets the eye from its side characters to its city, I can tell there are plenty of surprises waiting to be found in the story that is complemented by cool mechanics as well, as I find more reasons to enjoy this game and its satisfying fast-paced world. By the end of June, I was probably around 6 hours into the story thanks to also juggling editing, but have hit beyond the 10-hour point since then, and I'm enjoying playing every night and on my weekend, learning more about its world and enjoying its quick action gameplay that is also a good stress relief. If you guys are playing it too, I'd love to hear if you guys are enjoying it as much as I am in the comments, but so far, I'm glad Bandai Namco's slick action JRPG has been a lot of fun so far, and I'm looking forward to diving into it more right after making this video. In a timeline of events I find interesting, last month when I made JRPGs I played in May, I had just come off playing Atelier Lydie and Suelle DX, and the day I began writing the script for this video was right after publishing my review for it, and looking back on my experience while making that review was a lot of fun, so I definitely encourage you guys to watch that if you haven't already. One of the things I only touched on in that review was the fact that I didn't see as many events in it as I might have liked to, as while I enjoyed the main story and the Nelke content, I didn't want to add too much extra time to my experience, probably because I'd just come off playing the first 2 games in the trilogy, and that this was my second playthrough of Lydie and Suelle, and while I thankfully got to the end quickly enough where it didn't affect my impressions of the DX version, I definitely finished it right around the point where I was ready for something new, with the new Nelke content in the DX version being the perfect thing to try at this point, as it was a combination of old and new content with the right amount of nostalgia that reminded me of the music and themes I loved from Nelke, and the fact that it wasn't so long made it a good cherry on top of my mysterious DX experience that has me looking back on the whole thing fondly as a marathon of games that was long but overall very fulfilling, and I'm still not against coming back to Lydie and Suelle more again in future to see more of the events that I've promised myself I'll see as much as possible of someday. Another thing that lets me know I enjoyed this long experience was that it prompted me to jump into Atelier Rorona DX not long after I finished to try and see more of its events, which was a pleasant experience now that I'm allowing myself to do it in English rather than trying to study Japanese at the same time. I also jumped into Ryza 2 for a little bit to check out the new celebration costume, and I also checked out a little of the first episode of the Atelier Escha and Logy anime, so I think the Atelier love in me definitely isn't tired out by any means yet, and even though I'm glad to have had a small break from the series with the other things I played, I'm still looking forward to playing more of this series and its many post-games I have waiting for me, whether it's conquering its time limits or just gathering and relaxing in these games, which is something I'll always appreciate this series for, aside from the wholesome vibes that make coming back to it always feel like home. I mentioned in the Lost JRPGs I Played video that I had some demos sitting around in the form of Disgaea 6 and Cris Tales, and being ready to try something new last month, I was very happy to give these a try, along with continuing the JRPG anime I've been enjoying and more, with all these things reminding me about the various things I love from the genre. The first thing I tried was Disgaea 6's demo, and while I always seem to find myself a little overwhelmed when I try Disgaea games, it immediately had me laughing with its witty dialogue and just how extra the experience felt. The damage counters are off the chart as I expected, and the many tutorials I played made me feel like I barely touched the tip of the iceberg of its mechanics, but aside from its fun script, the mechanics I did see, like the underworld hospital that rewards you for how much SP and HP you use, has me interested to try more of it sometime in the future, and while I don't know when that will be, it was nice to see from the demo that it's a game I wouldn't mind checking out more of. Cris Tales was also another game I tried thanks to some of you guys suggesting I look into it in the past, with its Switch demo being the push I needed to finally do it. I'm happy I did, as it looks like something that could be really interesting if its first hour is anything to go off, with just the idea of being able to see the past, present, and future as you run around easily making it very intriguing, and mixed with a story that makes it look like it'll have twists based on this, I'm curious to see where it will all go, and with good voice acting and a pretty art style to top it off, it's again something I probably won't pick up immediately, but has got me curious thanks to having a chance to play with it. Also, in some of my downtime, I got back to The World Ends With You anime for my Japanese study, and I just finished studying the second episode, so now I can watch it in full this month. I also just randomly put on Blue Reflection Ray in English one night while eating to help me get a head start in getting back into it, and understanding more of its story after I saw some of you guys saying some very nice things about it in the comments made me glad I took a look at it, and while I'm focusing more on The World Ends With You right now, I'm glad I checked it out in English, as knowing I have an easy way to catch up on it when I'm ready is good, and I'm curious to see how the story will progress. Finally, in something I didn't expect to play at all, I ended up playing Super Smash Bros. Ultimate with my boyfriend and decided it was time to get the Pyra and Mythra DLC, as I realized I'm only really interested in two of the fighters from the second fighter pack, so I might as well start getting them. Playing Smash to the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 music with the awesome finishing moves has been a lot of fun, even if I'm still not the best at Smash, and it's nice to have those characters added to my roster of what I consider JRPG all-stars that I like to play with, that makes it fun every time I come back to it and gives me someone to always look forward to playing with. While all the extra things I played last month were quite different, whether it was music, humor, or art, there were plenty of things that reminded me exactly why I find this genre so fulfilling, and gave me the variety I needed that's allowed me to come into July with a clear head and with many more things to play. All in all, I'm glad to have had a lot of small things to check out as they help me get ready for this month, and with more demos to check out sitting on my Switch, I look forward to playing more this month too. While June was certainly busy in terms of the amount of things I played, this year is still really heating up in my eyes, especially this month, with there being so many releases that it's impossible to play them all, but the ones I do plan to play have me very excited as they're games I've been keen on for a while. The one I'm most excited to play with is Neo: The World Ends With You, that I also intend on playing the demo for soon, as I've only heard good things about it, and since I enjoyed the Switch port of the original in spite of its interesting controls, it's going to be great to return to its eye-catching graphics and story of Reapers and time limits all over again, and with keeping my hype high for it thanks to regularly watching the anime, it's definitely on my list of things I don't plan on missing this month. Something I also probably don't want to miss this month is the release of Atelier Online for smartphones, which I've had sitting on my phone for a while in Japanese and have jumped into on a few occasions, but it will naturally be easier to try in English, and I'm looking forward to giving it a proper go. There are multiple other things I'd love to get the chance to look at in July, such as Ys 9 on Switch and other things, but I also want to finish Scarlet Nexus 2 and have some content planned that means it's one of those months where it feels like there are so many games to play and so little time. So I'm just gonna try play as much as I can and enjoy it as much as possible, and whether I play more or less in July, my main goal is to make the most of it in another month of many games and JRPG fun that I can't wait to dive into. Thank you for watching this video. Let me know in the comments below what you played in June and what you plan to play this month. You can like and share this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel for more JRPG content like this, and ring that bell to get notifications on whenever I post so you don't miss a thing. You can check out more videos here, and you can find me on social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all at JRPG Jungle. Links to those will be in the description below, and until next time, thank you, bye!